Welcome back to Chuck's Chat YouTube, the college football picks show. Joined this week by Matt Ferry once again, Ben Pounk, and our producer. As you can see now, our production value is very much increased. So big shout out to Noah. He is muted. He's a silent producer. He's not like Hank or like the bro on Anthony Gargano's show back in the day. But week one's in the books. I'm going to run through the records and, we can talk about maybe a little recap of, what went well, what didn't go well. Starting at the top, shamelessly in first place, myself at 9-8-2, 53%, 1-0 on locks. Coming in second, Matt Ferry, 8-9-1, 47%, 1-0 on locks. And Ben, 11-14-1, 44%, 0-2 on locks, but Pitt did win, and they look like maybe the best team in the ACC. It was the most impressive performance of the weekend. I don't know,
Probably,
if you
I
have any
agree.
takes, if you have any opinions on one, Pitt, and then two, what maybe could have gone differently in week one.
Well, one of the locks was just in spite of Ferry, so I let it get in my head. This week, I actually saw some football with my eyeballs, so I can go off the eyeball test, hopefully do better. I just had to think about it for a couple of days. I had to really think about what I'm doing this for after those 0-2 locks and losing record. But I think I'm going to do well this week. I picked less games. I have ones I really like. I think I'm ready to go. Just like Pitt.
Nice. Good. Yes, there you go. And Ferry, I wanted to know from you. We did spend a decent amount of time watching football together this weekend. I wanted to know what you thought. If you had to give me your top, who is your college football playoff? Who had the most impressive performance of the weekend? Who maybe did not play to the level that you had anticipated?
I think the obvious one is Alabama. I think we can all agree that we all kind of just rode that bandwagon of them not coming back with all the starters. And once again, never doubt Nick Saban. I think I don't know why anyone, including us, have ever doubted that man. He's right there in it, and he's proven that he's still got the best team in the country. I think the most underwhelming, I guess you could say, I guess Clemson. You got to come out better than that for the biggest game. You've got another star quarterback coming in. I don't know. I know that's kind of chalky to say to talk about two of those best teams, but I said Clemson's got to be better.
Yeah, 3 out of their 4 last big games against top 5 teams they've lost now, dating back to they beat Notre Dame, lost Notre Dame, and then got smoked by Ohio State and really didn't look. They lost by a touchdown, but it didn't really ever feel like they were ever going to get that touchdown on Saturday night. So starting week 2, we got 7 games that we've listed as the big games of the week. Big noon kickoff. Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt will be in the shoe. First time the Horseshoe has fans back since pre-COVID. Oregon at Ohio State. Oregon is playing this game at 9 a.m. body clock time for them. Ohio State minus 14.5, over under 63.5. Ben, what are you thinking about this one?
I don't really have a good read. I didn't really watch Oregon. I watched Ohio State though. Don't really like their quarterback. Don't feel comfortable laying 14.5 down. Gonna roll with the over. I think both these teams are gonna score. Ohio State scored instantly in the second half, and they played Nebraska, I believe, last week. Oregon can usually do the same. They usually score. Pac-12 is usually a scoring conference, so I'm just gonna roll with the over. I don't feel comfortable laying the points with Ohio State.
Ohio State played Minnesota.
Sorry, not
same thing.
Ferry, years ago.
Right. Right. Ferry, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with Ohio State first half and full game. I just think I understand they had a rough one against the spread last week, but regression comes back this week. I don't care that they're playing Oregon. If Columbus is going to be going crazy for the first game back in 2 weeks, I gotta stick to the roots of first half spread and full game Ohio State spread. It's been unreliable for years now.
That's true. My read on this game, I find it very interesting that Oregon, who I think is number 11 in the country right now, is the same exact underdog as Minnesota. That seems weird. I don't like that Oregon is playing at 9 a.m. I very much believe in stuff like that. I think more so in college football than in the NFL. Like if the Seahawks were playing the Dolphins, I'd probably look at that game a little differently than this. I don't. Is CJ Stroud great? I don't know. Is he terrible? I don't think he's terrible. He's still kind of have to wait and see. Maybe first performance, tough road environment. I don't even think he has to be that good. They are so loaded offensively, and we saw it in the second half. I think this could get ugly for Oregon. And I think Ohio State really shows this week why they are, no one's going to touch them in the Big Ten. I really like the 14.5. Because I'm a loser, I'm going to take by the half point, and I'm going to just take 14 this week with Ohio State. I do like the over. Maybe when it comes down to it, I'll take the Ohio State team total. If it, I think they'll score 40 every week. So if it's like 39.5, I'm going to rip it. And hope that happens. I was also thinking about maybe taking a CJ Stroud or Chris Olave future, just because I think they're going to put up so many points and be in it at the end. They're not going to give the Heisman probably to Matt Corral when Ole Miss goes 8-4. Like that's just generally not what they do. So that's my Ohio State minus 14. Other Big Ten team in action there's a couple Big Ten teams in action, but we're going to go down to the Cy-Hawk Trophy at Iowa State. Iowa at Iowa State. Going to be an awesome game. College game day is there. Iowa State minus 4.5 over under 46. They play this game every year, except last year we lost it. This year we get it back. Our Big 12 representative, Matt Ferry, you nailed it with Iowa State last week, saying that they don't come out hot in week one. So what do they have in store for us week 2?
I love this matchup every year. I know we missed it last year. I love football and basketball. I just want to make the record known. It's always that great in-state rivalry that I don't know what it is. Those two teams just I don't know if I could say they hate each other because that Midwest charm really is there, but it's just always a great matchup for these two teams. I think Matt Campbell gets it going again this week. I love Iowa State minus 4 only because of the home field advantage. Despite it's going to be a good game. It's going to be one hell of a game.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm with there. This is probably my second favorite game on the card. Love it. I'm definitely going to be watching this game and not really switching too much. I think 4.5 is a crazy spread because I think this game's going to be really close. I'm going to take Iowa purely because of my love for Iowa. They did me well last week. They really proved to me that they're a good team. Iowa State was good last year. I see it being close. I think Iowa is going to win, but I'm just going to take the plus 4.5 because that feels like 1.5 extra points than what it should be.
Yeah, Ben, I agree. I agree with basically everything you said. I love Iowa. They put on quite the performance last week. It scares me a little bit that it's like 4.5 because it makes me think, oh, Iowa was so dominant. Like, why isn't it 3? Why isn't it maybe Iowa's favored? But I'll take the plus 4.5 with Iowa. That will be on my card, and I'm very excited to watch that game. Maybe actually, the over kind of seems appealing in this game for some reason. Like, I feel like both teams can get it over 46. It just seems kind of low, but it could also look like Clemson and Georgia last week. Another game that I found very interesting, Appalachian State going to Miami. Miami is an 8.5 point favorite. Over under is 45.5. Ferry, we'll start with Ben on this one. You had App State last week. What did you think of App State, and what do you think of this matchup? I don't know how much of the Miami-Alabama game you caught, but it was, not the greatest performance
I had
for
Miami. I had Miami last week. They got the shit kicked out of them. I don't know why I took them at all. When I took them, I had this like crunch in my stomach. I don't know why I took them, but I watched App State as well. They normally kick the shit out of bad teams. Sorry for my language, young viewers, but I don't think they will be able to play up to Miami. I think anybody Bama plays outside of like Georgia and maybe Ohio State or Clemson would get demolished the same way Miami did. So I'm gonna feel comfortable laying the points with Miami. They also have a very senior veteran quarterback that won't be rattled by getting destroyed by Bama week 1. So Miami minus 8.5.
Ferry, what do you think?
Yeah, I did not like the spread at all in this game. It makes me think I have no idea what I'm going to pick. So with that being said, I also looked at the general consensus of all my other picks, and I didn't have a single over. So and I wanted an over for the week. So I'm going to take over 54.5.
All right, I like the thought process.
Love it.
I let the others decide for me.
All of my totals last week, with the exception of Wisconsin, Penn State first half, none of them were close. Notre Dame, Florida State never was in the game on that one, and then also San Jose State USC was like 14-3 at the half, and it was the total was 60. I love Miami this week. They're too talented. This was probably like the worst week of football that they've ever had to practice and endure in their life from, well, I guess it's Tuesday right now when we're recording this. So the rest of this week is going to be really shitty. They're going to be told that, they suck, that they don't deserve, that was so embarrassing what happened. And then they're going to come out and they're going to destroy Appalachian State. This is a game that I love so much. It's not my lock, but love Miami minus 8.5. Going to the West Coast, a potential first-round pick in Keaton Slovis taking on Stanford. They used to have some magical battles back in the day when Carroll and Harbaugh, not exactly the same flavor now. USC minus 17 hosting Stanford. The over-under is 51.5. Ferry, what are you thinking for this one?
I said last week with my Kansas State Stanford pick that, Stanford's awful. I think they're probably at least bottom 2 team Pac-12. So I think USC spread, what is it, minus 17, 17 and a half?
17, yeah.
17. Yeah, I'll even if it was 17 and a half, I would still take it.
I agree 100%. Stanford is one of the worst football teams in the nation this year. USC has a good quarterback. They're ranked, I believe. They're a quality team. They should win by at least 3 scores, I think. Stanford stinks.
The way that you guys were talking about this game, I may have to add it to my card. I'm going to add it to my USC minus 17. We're going to add it to my card. I didn't really have an opinion on this game. I was going to take.
Stanford stinks, dude.
I'm going to add it to my card now.
I didn't even watch them last week, but I was just keeping up with the game, and God, they suck. They are terrible.
Yeah, hopefully USC can, just take care of them.
If Noah makes a graphic of all this, all 3 of us taking USC, and then they get blown out or something, we're screwed.
Yeah. Next game, very interesting game. This goes back to like a Big 8 rivalry back in the day. Arkansas, Texas minus 6.5 visiting Arkansas. The over/under is 57. Ferry, is Texas back?
Not fully back. I can't say it yet. I think they just had an inferior opponent last week because you still have a freshman quarterback.
You all had them.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't think I did. I think I stayed away from that game.
I had Louisiana Lafayette. I was very big on Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah,
it looked like varsity versus JV.
It did.
When I saw that, I was like, "This is not good."
I don't know. I still just think that Texas, I don't know. They started off slow. I think that's what it was, which I get with the freshman quarterback. I've gone back and forth with this pick 3 times in the last 24 hours. I'm probably gonna make it my 4th switch back. I'm gonna take Texas minus 6.5, even though I came into this with Arkansas. But I think the hostile environment is crazy. The only reason why I'm so hesitant is because I don't know if you've seen Arkansas' schedule for the rest of the year. It is insane.
I heard it's like an insane schedule. I haven't really seen it, but
like they got to get something here. I think they got to keep this tight before they, get in the real dog days of their SEC schedule. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like either pick of it. But since I'm a Big 12 guy, I'll stick with Texas.
I love Texas. I had them last week. Love the coach. I think them beating a ranked opponent week 1 is going to have them really amped up. I think the coach Sarkisian will be able to kind of keep him at bay. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing. I think they also win by probably multiple scores. I think against Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas is very good this year. They may finish with the worst record in the SEC other than Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Ben, I'm with you. Texas -6.5. This is getting scary. How many picks we agree on? This ends in only two ways for us. So Texas -6.5. I was very impressed with Bijan Robinson, the running back for Texas. He looks like the real deal. And yeah, I just think that Sarkisian might have something cooking, and Texas will get on a little roll. Hopefully, I don't know when they play Oklahoma. It's usually like middle, early October, that area. Hopefully we get 2 undefeated teams playing each other. That would be really add some spice to the Red River rivalry. Last of and I do, Texas is an official pick for me as well on the -6.5. NC State -2.5 going to Mississippi State, who survived a huge scare last week. Ben, we'll start with you. What are you thinking for this game?
I also love NC State -2.5. NC State is a pretty good team. I think they're going to finish above average in the ACC, around a Virginia Tech or a Pitt. I think they're all going to be very good. Mississippi State, I just think they have such a crazy way they play offense that they can get down very fast. And I don't really like the fit anymore. I loved the head coaching fit earlier when they hired him to begin with. I can't think of his name.
Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Leach. But I think NC State is going to win this by probably a touchdown, 10-point game. I don't think Mississippi State's very good either.
Fair.
Well, fair. I mean, I think this game's very interesting. I think it's going to be a good game, a weird game, it's an entertaining game. But I will be taking Mississippi State +3 just because they're the home team, and I like home dogs, and NC State, they're riding the high of Tuffy 2's debut, so we'll see what happens this week. We don't have Tuffy 2 on the sidelines this week.
Ever since, was it against Miami last year?
Yep.
I mean after Tuffy died. Yeah.
One of the best wins I've ever had.
Yeah. So I'm not taking this game. But if I had to make a pick, I'd probably go NC State. I just don't trust Mississippi State. They play well against the really good teams, and then they tend to shit the bed against the teams that they are probably their level, maybe a little below. And I think that's kind of where NC State falls. And NC State, I think that they'll end up covering there. So, Ben, before we continue, I need a State of the Union from as our ACC representative on the show. Very tough showing for the top programs outside of Pitt. Their top programs, not named Pitt, did not play well.
Well, I mean, the programs played 2 top 5 teams. I don't see any other conference doing that. And then they're playing Alabama and Georgia. UNC was in conference tough. In conference games are always tough, and UNC's whole team disappointed me outside of Sam Howell. So I can see not being good, but I still believe in at least Clemson. Miami is iffy, but Clemson I think is still a very good team that could make the college football playoff.
So buy while the stocks allow.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose, you want to lose early. People aren't even going to care about this when they're 11-1.
I think Clemson's fucked, to be honest.
I don't think so.
They need a lot of things to go their way.
I think early losses are a lot better, and people always forget toward the end of the season.
No, I do agree with that. It's
because
just the
they
way
affect you
that
less in the polls. Like they're only like
yeah,
5. So they only
yeah.
need like one team to lose.
They need probably Oklahoma. Well, no, they would definitely need like Oklahoma to lose,
Which could
Cincinnati to
happen. I don't think
lose.
Oklahoma's that good. Cincinnati, like I don't think it's. I
Yeah,
think they could
it's
still. They still have
possible.
a good shot
Yeah,
of making it.
they do. Yeah, they do. And if they could catch Georgia getting a weird loss, that would really help. They need either Georgia, like if Georgia or Bama lost before they played each other in the SEC championship, and then, it gets all crazy towards the end. But Clemson's still alive. I just, not sure I believe in their chances, just considering their schedule, and they still have to go to the BK,
the
the BKB later
BKB.
at the end of October. All right, so cards for this week. Ferry, I want to start with you. Run through your slate. You can save your lock for the end. I do just tease it before we get in. I do have 2 locks this week. I'm going with the Ben method. I'm throwing 2 locks out there. There's 2 games that I love so much.
Interesting.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But go ahead.
I'm going to start off with some Friday night action here. Chuck, I have some history with this matchup, Coastal Carolina versus Kansas. Yep. Kansas has been it's been a ride, Kansas. Coastal Carolina has screwed me as well, but I'm willing to forgive them. I'm going to take Coastal Carolina minus 25.5. Kansas has proven that they are not good. I mean, we saw what happened last week despite winning, storming the field, all that. Coastal Carolina's going to come in.
It's candy ass, I agree.
Yeah. It gives me something to do on Friday night. Coastal minus 25.5. It didn't matter what it was. It could be 28. I was still taking Coastal. They're going to win by 5 touchdowns. I already said Ohio State first half full game. I'm not touching the Pitt game. I was happy that I took them last week. I ain't touching them in Tennessee. I didn't touch Rutgers Temple because I thought they were trash. But this week, I love Rutgers -2, despite being inside the Carrier Dome. Syracuse is trash, but Rutgers showed some promise by being the living shit out of an awful team in our area. I love Georgia -26 as well. I'm going to take, again, after speaking about the trash team, I'm going to take Akron +6.5 against Temple.
Oh my God!
You're
really dumpster diving on that game. Right
I want to just keep shitting on that game program so much. Like Temple's
That's a tough game to take and anything in it.
It is. It's a very tough game. But
if you need me to find the Reddit stream for you, that'll be tough to find, but I could send it your way.
I might need that. That is for sure. I'm just on this fuck Temple bandwagon here. Excuse my language. And then I already said Iowa State -4. Oh my gosh. I almost made this my lock of the week, but I didn't. I love Hugh Freeze still -5. Chuck, I locked it in just like you said. I was not taking any chances of it jumping up 2 more touchdowns, despite it not even mattering last week, which was phenomenal. Right. Love the Hugh Freeze. I know PMT brought it up this week or today. Hugh Freeze has his boosters. He always knows what the spread is. So -5 is a lock. For the big time Herbie game, Michigan, Washington, they both stink. So under 51 is my pick. I've been buying into the whole idea that Arizona is another bottom tier team in the Power 5. So I love San Diego State +1. I wanted to take something for the Vandy Colorado State game, but they're both just so awful. I couldn't even take anything. Kentucky, Missouri. I'm taking Kentucky -5. Another one I like is under whatever it is. It hasn't been announced in the Florida State Jacksonville State game. Jacksonville State lost 31-0 to was it UAB? They lost 31-0 to some other shit team. So Florida State should be able to keep them low.
Yeah, it may have been UAB. Sounds right.
Does that sound right? I think it was 31.
Yeah, was that last Thursday or Wednesday?
Yeah, that Wednesday game. Yeah, and so they lost by 31-0. Florida State. I assume the total is going to be like 50. Florida State might win, 35-7, and then that's perfect. I already said Mississippi State. I said Texas. Said over that, and then I'm going to take Oklahoma spread no matter what it is. Again, similar to my guns pick about Ohio State. I love just, I got to stick to the roots here. Got to stick to it. And I think that's my last pick besides my lock of the week, which we'll go over later.
Add Oklahoma spread to my card. Me.
Who's Oklahoma play?
Love it.
They play. I don't even know.
I don't even know. I just have on my notes Oklahoma spread. Don't care.
I'm gonna look it up. Oklahoma Sooners football. They got West Carolina this week. Who's 0-1?
Perfect.
What are they? What's the spread? Can we get a spread?
It's not out yet.
Yeah. I said whatever it is, don't care.
Whatever it is, I also don't care.
You know what? Fuck it.
I said that.
Card, Noah. I'm in.
I said that last week, seeing Oklahoma minus 31 against Tulane, but hey, they don't.
They got to cover something.
Yeah. Tulane
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they had a hurricane.
Added to my card.
Yeah, I mean they're not like the defense has to look better, right?
I mean the whole team.
Rattler has to be better.
Yeah, the whole team has to look better. Tough. That was a crazy. We didn't deserve to cover that first half cover. Like that was insane. Like did you guys both have the first half?
I forgot to take it.
I had
the
game and the over, so I didn't have the first half.
Oh, okay. Well, the over that was.
The over. The over was the problem.
Yeah. All right, Ben, your card this week. How many plays we got? Is it 26?
It's not even like the board as much as I did last week. It might be like high teens. I haven't counted, but I've got Oklahoma spread. Boise State minus 26 at UTEP. Boise State lost against UCF last week. I think they bounced back, win this week. Usually they'll finish with a lot of games and kick the shit out of like the smaller teams. I think this is the week they kind of set the tone for that. Army minus 7 versus Western Kentucky. Army, I'm not sure if you guys even paid attention to the game last week. I had them.
I have Army alerts on for my phone.
They destroyed the team they played. Western Kentucky, I believe, will be worse than the team they played last week. They should cover the spread easily. Pitt, Tennessee over 57. Minnesota minus 19.5. Miami, Ohio. I think Minnesota also bounces back, similar to Boise State. They played Ohio State. They won't be afraid of anybody. They got big boys on the O-line. I think they'll just run all day on this team. Notre Dame minus 16.5 versus Toledo. I like. Ball State, Penn State under 57.5. I'm not going to do 2 locks, so this one's on my card. Kentucky minus 5. I love. Had them last week. Kentucky doesn't get praised as it should as a football program nowadays. They always start the season unranked, and they usually finish in the mid-teens. They're still unranked. They will finish in the mid-teens this year. They're in the SEC. They play good teams. Iowa plus 4.5. Iowa versus Iowa State over 46. Love that. Michigan minus 6.5 against Washington. Washington's probably just going to give up on the whole season. They lost to Montana. I think it's going to get really bad very quickly for them. Cincy, Murray State over 51.5. I think Cincy could get that on their own. Miami minus 8.5. USC minus 17. Texas minus 6.5. NC State minus 2.5. Western Michigan minus 11 versus Illinois State. They'll bounce back after getting the shit kicked out of them by Michigan. They're a good football team. And then Ohio State over 64. And then I'll save my lock after this.
All right. I did add a couple. Oh, crap. I forgot to add what was the one? There was what? Go back to the beginning. The beginning. Oh, it was Boise State. Minus 26, right? Okay. I added that to the card. Okay. Boise State minus 26. Ferry, I am with you. Coastal Carolina. I'm going to take them first half and full game. I haven't seen a first half line yet.
I'll take first half.
I actually already took Coastal Carolina when it was minus 27. Now it's minus 25.5. Those both aren't football numbers. Like
nope.
If it was like 28.5 and now it's 25.5, I'd be like, well, this sucks. Yeah. But yeah. I think I'm still fine. Ohio State minus 14. Rutgers minus 2.5. Greg Schiano he's got the team looking different. Rutgers is not same old Rutgers. They're actually gonna beat bad teams, and they will beat another bad team this week. Rutgers 2-0. That's what we're staring in the face of. Miami minus 8.5. Iowa plus 4.5. Pitt minus 3.5. Tennessee. It's probably a very tough place to play. Pitt has a very good defense, and Tennessee's offense is a complete mess. I think that's where the game will be won. It won't necessarily be Pitt is lighting up the scoreboard, but the defense will do its job. Pat Narduzzi getting the boys a big win against SEC competition.
So it's not gonna be a pretty game.
No, I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. Although Ben has the over, so he's reading a little differently than me.
Fair enough.
So maybe on game day I might take the under. We'll see how this goes. I mean, it's not going to be an official pick. Also got Washington minus 26. They're playing Eastern Michigan. They really had their way running the ball, and then when they got in the red zone, they forgot how to play football. They should kick the shit out of this team, and I would be shocked if Eastern Michigan scored at all. Like if their total's like 10 and a half, I might take the under for full game, but that's not official. This is a I hope to God my Washington future is still alive pick. I Washington plus I Washington plus 6.5.
Yeah, I think it's dead.
That thing's dead. But this is one of those spots to me where I was thinking about this earlier today. Ohio State's at noon. Washington, Michigan's at 8. Wouldn't it just be so Michigan for Ohio State to kick the piss out of Oregon, and then later that night they can have a Big Ten Pac-12 sweep, and then they just shit the bed, and they're barely beating Washington, but Washington's in the game the entire way. I just kind of like it's so Michigan to do, like in the Harbaugh era. I think this one's actually going to be close. The Washington after last week, this kind of like my Miami thing, except flip. They lost to a team that was so shitty. They're having a terrible week. They're going to come out ready to play. They don't want to start 0-2. If they lose this game bad, they're that's curtains for them. For a team that's probably shouldn't be that bad. Texas minus 6.5, USC minus 17. In the Matt Ferry convinced me to take this game. Also in the Matt Ferry convinced me to take this game, OU spread. Notre Dame minus 16.5. I was a little scared to take this just because OT thriller on Sunday night, then have to turn around and play on a Saturday. Toledo's not a bad football team, but I think Notre Dame will be able to put up points. Home opener, I think we should be able to cover that. And then Boise State minus 26. 2 locks. So I'll start with mine first. Liberty, I already took it at minus 5.5. I saw it down to 4.5, which is kind of concerning, but I have no idea why it's doing that. I think Liberty's a really good team and will be ranked at some point, maybe even after this week. I don't know, I really don't know anything about Troy. I saw that they won 55-3 against Southern, but they're probably not, anyone. Liberty should be able to win this game by a touchdown. I would be shocked. And then my other lock, North Carolina minus 25.5. They're playing Georgia State. Mac Brown's too good of a coach to not, really lay it on this team. And, North Carolina was ranked where they were, I think, for a reason. They're not, Virginia Tech, tough place to play. I think they really bounce back. This is a good spot for them.
Okay, do you want to go next?
I guess so. My lock of the week is under 58 in the Florida USF game. I don't see USF scoring more than a touchdown against Florida, but I don't see Florida scoring 50 points. So I could see like a 40 to 3 game maybe. Like I just love the under in this Florida USF game. That's my lock of the week. We'll see how many units I put on it. So
you're both of your locks have been unders.
I'm a new gambler this year, Chuck.
Last week.
No, Ferry's locks. Yeah, but his lock last week and his lock this week. I love it.
Chuck, a wise man once said, aka you, it's the under hits until it doesn't. All right.
Exactly. Ben.
So I haven't been able to say this in quite a while about my football team, but I love them this week. I think they are going to blow the doors off of Rocky Top. I got this spread at minus 1.5.
Ooh.
If you want to make it 3.5, I don't care. I think this is a high-scoring game. I think Kenny Pickett has an insane QB game again. I think they win by 10, 14 points minimum. But I think we're going to get into the 30s. They might be 20, 34-20. I could see this game being.
That would be
I
the
think-
under.
Oof.
37. I've watched enough Pitt football to know that our defense has good players on it, but they don't normally play well. I think Tennessee's going to go up. That's why I picked the over. But I think Pitt is just a very good football team this year. I think they could win the ACC Coastal.
Plus 1,000.
I have a
Love
minus
it.
1.5 because I'm sharp, but I will concede if you want to make it as my lock -3.
No, whatever you got is what you got it at. So I haven't bet it yet, and I saw -3.5 today, and I love that. I like Pitt. I hate that it's moved to 3.5, but I'm still going to take it anyway because I feel them being favored at Tennessee is such a sucker, like to get people to bet on Tennessee. Pitt is. I love that pick.
Kenny Pickett's for real.
Kenny Heisman. Is this the year?
H to P.
All right. Any closing thoughts?
I love Liberty. That's all I gotta say.
Love Liberty.
Add Liberty in my card.
Add Liberty to his card. Love it.
We
Yeah,
got a lot of. We could have a good weekend or a bad weekend,
I'm in.
boys.
Liberty Troy game of the week for this show. All right, that is the week 2 college football picks. Let's see if we can get I think everyone's going to turn around this week. I think we're all going to have a very good week. Positive
I
vibes
think
only.
so too.
Let's go.
We have a lot of the same picks, Chuck. So I hope you have a good week.
Yeah, I hope you have a good week as well. All right.